Thanks for clicking. As the Ontario provincial election heats up, the PC Party, the Conservatives, and the NDP have both started off by releasing their housing policies. And just in time as well. According to a recent Abacus research poll, housing affordability is the issue about which Ontarians are second most concerned, right behind cost of living, which really is also considered housing affordability. So what I want to do today is go over the housing policies of both the Conservatives and the NDP. Liberals have yet to release.
We're waiting.
Discuss their strengths and weaknesses, and then go over what to look for next. Speaking of what to look for next, we are expecting to get Canada's inflation rate next week, which will have a big impact on the timing and severity of the Bank of Canada's rate decision, which is coming on June 1st. We'll obviously have updates on that inflation rate on this channel. If you want to get those updates, make sure you click like and subscribe. But for now, let's get into these housing platforms. The Conservative Party platform is going to largely focus on the 55 recommendations made by the Ontario Affordability Task Force, which we talked about a few months ago on this channel. Well, we've already talked about the recommendations from the task force in great length. I want to go over a few salient details as they're coming up in this election campaign. First and foremost, the task force and Premier Ford promises to build 1.5 million homes over the next 10 years. And this is definitely a big task, as right now Ontario is only building about 75,000 homes per year. So the PCs are looking to double the amount of homes built. And they plan on accomplishing this through various supply measures, but mainly getting tough on municipalities through a variety of carrots and sticks.
See, we can't do this one or two ways.
To build more homes, to allow more secondary dwelling units, to not allow builders to get caught up in the municipal process and get backlogged. And on Friday, Premier Ford touted his intention to build 150,000 homes per year for the next 10 years.
We need to cut through the red tape and all the regulations and make sure that we get housing built, and that's exactly what we're going to do, to a tune of 1.5 million. And that's our low estimate. We'll do better.
So while the PC Party is focusing almost solely on supply on this Ontario Affordability Task Force, the NDP also released their program for housing, and they are also promising to build 1.5 million new homes.
Make sure that over the next 10 years, we'll have 1.5 million homes available for people to be able to purchase and to be able to rent affordably.
For those new homes built, the NDP is promising they will create a body to oversee the construction of 250,000 affordable units, non-market units.
We are going to have Ontario Housing as an organization, an agency that will help finance the building of not-for-profit and co-op units, social housing.
But the NDP is also focusing on the demand side, promising home equity loans for first-time homebuyers who earn less than $200,000 per year. So under this plan, the NDP would provide shared equity home loans to first homebuyers that would allow them to use those loans as their down payment, and those loans would be repayable to the government upon time that the house was sold, or buyers would have the option to pay them back any time in between. So to summarize, the Conservatives and the NDP are both promising to build 1.5 million new homes, with the Conservatives planning to get tougher on municipalities, and the NDP planning a special body to create 250,000 affordable units within that 1.5 million new homes. However, critics are already starting to emerge on these home equity loans being promised by the NDP. Paul Anglin, a professor at the University of Guelph, notes that if you throw money in the direction of first-time homebuyers, that will shift the demand curve, which will increase the price paid by second-time homebuyers. So the idea is, if I have $40,000 for a down payment and you have $20,000 for a down payment, if the government gives us both $20,000, I now have $60,000 for a down payment, you only have $40,000. I will still win the bid, and the house will cost another $20,000 than it would have had the government had done nothing. And I think that's a fair point. If the government is giving $20,000 to everyone, if they're going to give these home loans to everyone that has less than $200,000 in an annual income,
Who doesn't?
then they're effectively just raising the price floor. Raising the base amount of money available to everyone will do nothing to help anyone particular get into a home, but will simply drive up the price of real estate. And I also think there's a big problem there with feasibility and popularity. We've talked a few times on this channel about the first-time homebuyer incentive, a very similar shared equity program implemented by the federal Liberal government. Now, the program, for all of its faults, has been wildly unpopular because, as it turns out, Canadians didn't like the idea of the government owning a portion of your home.
Really?
So the NDP's program, although we haven't received a full account on how it will work, how it will be implemented, doesn't seem all that different from the federal Liberal program, the shared equity program, that most have really failed to use. Most haven't taken advantage of the program as they don't want the government owning any portion of their house. We still haven't received any news from the Liberal Party on their platform vis-a-vis housing policy. My guess is they will align themselves fairly closely with the Homebuyers Bill of Rights that the Trudeau government is working on. And I think we might see some wording on blind bidding, as blind bidding definitely was a hot federal election topic, and I think it very well could be a hot provincial election topic as well. With that said, though, when the Ontario Liberal Party does release their election platform, we will definitely have an update out on this channel and compare it with that of the NDP and the Conservatives as this election cycle unfolds. If you want to get those updates, make sure you click like and subscribe, and thanks so much for watching.